Hey, welcome back to A Second of Context with Dr. Rosner. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the development of photojournalism. Now, many of you might know that Matthew Brady is widely considered the father of photojournalism. And that's because of the images that he took on the battlefield during the Civil War. He, of course, had developed the daguerreotype technology as a portrait artist before the Civil War and was responsible for taking images of the battlefield during the Civil War. What you might not know is that those images couldn't be reproduced as halftone images in the newspapers and the magazines of the era. Instead, before the 1880s, images had to be reproduced as wood engravings and lithographs. What you see before you is an image of Harper's Weekly and a lithograph. It's a line drawing that was recreated from an image that Brady himself had taken. What we know is that the first halftone reproduction occurred on March the 4th, 1880. And that's the date in which the New York Daily Graphic reproduced this image, a scene in a shanty town in New York. Moreover, what we know is that it would take another couple of decades for images to widely circulate in newspapers as a part of the new journalism. By the 1920s, when the image was shot in front of you of Cal Coolidge and a host of photographers, we know that there were a number of photographic services, including the Bain News Service, who captured this image before you. By 1936, you had the development of the photo magazine. Henry Luce developed the magazine. And by November of 1946, Life magazine was celebrating a decade of images. The image that you see on the left side of your screen is one of the Little Rock desegregation crisis that was captured in autumn of 1958. You can tell the difference between the two images. So in the 30s and 40s, you were seeing the reproduction of black and white images. But by the late 50s, Life magazine had the power to reproduce and capture color images that were transmitted across the globe. This particular image did circulate around the globe and largely led to the advocacy of integration and the civil rights movement. And that brings me to my final topic to share with you today. I want you to understand the power of the image that we've seen throughout our global history. First through line drawings and wood engravings, then through the reproduction of halftones, and later through the reproduction of color images. Now the image before you is a black and white photo that was taken by Eddie Adams, who was a photojournalist for UPI during the Vietnam War. And this particular image ultimately became reproduced by anti-war activists, and it was one of the main images that shifted public opinion around the Vietnam War. This image was joined by hundreds of other images throughout the 60s, and those images raised awareness about the freedom struggle that was occurring within the United States around civil rights, and then the images that were shifting public thought, shifting public opinion around the Vietnam War in Southeast Asia. So, just a moment, just a second of context that I wanted to share with you about the power of photojournalism to shape public thought, to shape public opinion. It's a tremendous power. Thanks for being with me today.